NQT Advanced Coding. So let me tell you the pattern first. So this one will be in the advanced round. So once you clear the first round, which is having the logical ability, the reasoning is there, and then you have the verbal ability. So after those three steps is when if you are aspiring for the digital or the prime roles, so that is when advanced coding round you will have in the second round. Okay, so coming to the pattern of the TCS coding. So the total number of questions that you will have is 3 questions. The total time is 90 minutes allotted in order to clear the 3 coding questions. So the medium level questions to high level questions will be the difficulty level. So always be prepared for the worst. Like I always say, be prepared for the worst. The difficulty level is high. Given this is a national qualifier test. Okay, so yes, the marking scheme, you do not have any negative marking scheme. Congratulations, and good on that. Now the cutoff score, the cutoff score is 75%. So 75% in the sense, how do they take this cutoff score is like you have to minimum, you have the criteria to pass. If there are 10 test cases that you're supposed to pass, there are at least 75% of the test cases, that is at least 7 to 8 test cases you have to clear per coding question. So there are 3 questions, I repeat, and the total time that is given to you is 90 minutes. So how do you plan your 90 minutes? 30, 30, 30. If you plan for all the 3 questions, no, that is not going to happen. So you can plan for 20, 20 and 20. To solve each problem, please take 20 minutes initially, and then after that you have a buffer of 30 minutes where you can go back and refine and optimize your codes, so that you don't have to panic at the last moment. Since there is no negative marking also, that's a plus point for you. So the cutoff score is 75%. So coming to the question 1. So the problem statement 1, please read the question properly. So guys, any doubts so far? Any doubts on the pattern of the TCS NQT Advanced? So any idea how to prepare? So in between, let me give keep giving you much of the tips to prepare for the TCS NQT coding, and in between we will also see how you can actually prepare for the TCS NQT coding. The time is really less for you guys because 31st is the last date. Do not worry on that. Just be confident on your concepts and keep rocking. Okay, so to take the first tip, so you are expected to master the fundamentals. So whatever the fundamentals that you know, and please see to that you are good with data structures. At least the arrays, strings, the linked list paths, the stacks and queues are very important, or maybe the hash tables are very important when it comes to the data structure concepts, the algorithms, the searching and the sorting. Basically, the recursion and the dynamic programming type questions are expected. And then the mathematical concepts, just like the number theory, the combinations, the modular arithmetics, or the bit manipulations, all these kind are very, very important for you to stay ahead in the coding knowledge. So reading the first question for you. So Alice and her friends are playing a game of verbal coco. Alice is acting as a mediator, and the rest of the friends are seated on chairs. So, uh, let us take a pen and then. Okay, so Alice is acting as the mediator initially. Okay, and then the rest of the n friends are seated on n chairs. So first Alice is seating, and then the rest of n friends are seated in n chairs, one each. So Alice starts by providing a paper with a single digit number to a friend present at number 1. So Alice is the first person and she starts providing the single digit number to the friend. So single digit number is only between 0 to 9. So let's denote friends by F. Let's denote friends by F, where F will be the size of n. So F, they are clearly saying we have to take or denote the array by F, where the size of the F array will be n. So F of 1 till n represents the friends seated respectively, and after receiving the paper with a digit, so f of 1 will enact and try to tell f of 2 without speaking. So the first digit after receiving from Alice, they are telling that f of 1 will enact and tell that or pass the message to the f of 2 without speaking. So this game, I guess all of us would have played during our childhood. The same they are trying to reciprocate. So most of the times the questions are based on the real time scenario, and you should not be panicking if the length of the question actually increases. So the length of the question is not dependent on the size of the answer as well. So that doesn't mean if the question is big, that doesn't mean the answer has to be big. Okay, so you have to carefully read the sentences step by step. Carefully you have to read. So that's when you will be able to articulate the codes inside your mind. So this requires patience, perseverance and hard work and a lot of practice. So suddenly it is a bit difficult to learn coding, but then yes, through practice it is very possible. Okay. So similarly, F2 will communicate to the next person, F3, that is F3. This continues until the last person, F of n, understand the digit. So what is the scenario? By now you would be able to understand the scenario. So Alice is sitting in the first place, and then she is passing on some message on a paper which has only a single digit number from 0 to 9. So then F1 will be able to get that paper from Alice and pass on till the nth friend. Okay. So similarly, the communication happens and finally the last person will write the digit on a separate paper. So the last digit has nobody to turn and give that the paper to. So he gives it to Alice to compare both the papers. So whatever the Alice has passed initially, and the paper that the last person or the f of n person has written. So if the digits are similar, the Alice will give a t-shirt. Wow, the Alice is going to give a t-shirt to each of the friends. Awesome, no? We all want friends like that. However, if the digits do not match, Alice will ask each friend's digit and she will offer the t-shirts to only those who understand the digits correctly. So Alice will give the t-shirt only if people who have matched her digits and written in the paper and given. So however, if the digits do not match, don't worry, they are not getting the t-shirts. So then, after all this whole long story, so by now you would have got some small picture as to how to break down this program statement. So yes, a question fully understood is a problem half solved. So so when you try to understand the question entirely, so 50% of the solution you will be able to make up in your mind, and the rest you just have to plan it or dry run your code on a piece of paper and then just start coding. That simple it is. So given n number of friends and the digit array D denoting the digit understood by each friend. So we are supposed to enter n, so they say given. So that is nothing but the input that you are supposed to take to your program. So n number of friends and the digit array D. The digit array D is nothing but what each person is writing on the piece of paper, denoting the digit understood and written by that friend each. So finds how many of Alice's friend do not have not enacted well or did not understand the enactment by the previous friend correctly. So it either depends on how like the denoting of the digit array D is if they have understood whatever the digit that's been passed by Alice, or if they have not understood correctly. So that you are supposed to find how many people did not understand it. So going to the example, let's see the example for this. So they have asked us to input two things, that is n and the digit array D. So 3, the number of friends. So 3 number of friends are there. So 4, 4, 4 is the array denoting digit understanding by the n friends. So 4 is including Alice, that the number of friends come into picture. So 4 is Alice, that is giving its first name. So Alice is giving her first input, that is 4. So she is writing the 4 digit and passing on to f of 1 and f of 2%. And then so there are two more friends along with Alice. So they have they have written down 4, and they have the second person, the third person is also written down 4. So denoting the digit understood by friends. So now we clearly know that the two friends of Alice are understanding the same digit, and they're writing the same digit onto their whatever it onto the paper as well. Okay. So explanation is just nothing but explanation of the example they are telling. So all of them understood the digits correctly. Second example. So there are 5 friends including Alice, and the first Alice is giving number 1, but f of one friend didn't understand whatever Alice is given and didn't write it properly. So he's written 2, and then the third person is written 3, and the fourth and the fifth person have written 2. So what is the difference? So all the friends except Alice have given the wrong writing on the paper. So the output is 4. So first, second, third and the fourth friends could not enact or understand the enactment. So they could not enact the like whatever the Alice has given them. So yes, so this is the so this is how the students actually reciprocated each of the students or the friends reciprocated the Alice's answers. Now to solve this, I hope all of you understood the question. To solve this now, so what are you supposed to take into picture? You always know that the friend, so the friend of 0 is the Alice. So friend of 0 is Alice. So that this, whatever the Alice has written or enacted. So f of 1 till f of n are the digits that after Alice is passed a digit, that is what you are supposed to, the input you are supposed to give. So this is your another input. Now, so how do you check if there is a difference from f1 till fn with that of f of 0? So how do you approach this? So you have to keep comparing f of 1 to, so if f of 1 is equals to the f of 0. So in this case, you will increment the counter or the mismatch or count any variable that you want to give. So otherwise, what should you do? You will not take the correct count output. So to do this or to put it into the So to put it into the compiler, so let's start compiling. So I've chosen C compiler. So let that be standard for us today. So we will go with C coding. So just to start off, I'm sure all of us know how to use the compiler. So I'm choosing the online GDB compiler for today's discussion. So to start off, we generally start the program with hash include stdio.h, and we get on to write the main function. So the return type of the main function will be, so I hope the screen is visible to all of you. Otherwise we will just increment the, oh, okay, we will just zoom. All right, so yes, entering the main function. So we know we have to take the n value, that is the number of friends that Alice has including her, and then let me take a loop variable I, and then I will take a count and then initialize it to 0, or let me take it as the incorrect count. So incorrect count is the number of students that the Alice's friends that have not understood the Alice's code properly. And then, so they have asked us to read the number of friends. So always remember to follow the pattern that they have given. So this should be the input. So there should not be anything apart from 3 in the input. So enter the number of friends. So if that is given in the test case, it will not be evaluating properly. The input or the test case is designed in such a way that upon your code passing, so the test cases will be automatically tested and the output is given. So the test cases are evaluated by the computers and not manually. So the computer understands in a format that is input to it, right? So the input format has to be in this way and the output format has to be in this way. So they have not given any trailing characters or any preceding characters to the number. So let's keep it simple. We just will input the value using a scanf function. So %d, the format specifier for entering an input for integer, and then ampersand to make the n value store in particular address location. And then I will initialize a array, or I will declare an array. So they have asked you to declare of d, so or f we can say, and then of what size, we will take it as the n size. Now coming to the next part, so let's see the friends. We have created the array for the friends, and then we have created the size of the, or how many friends the Alice has. And then so you're supposed to read the digits that are understood by each of the friends. So how will you take that input? So you'll have to use a for loop, and then you will start from I is 0, all of us know that, and then I less than n, the number of friends of Alice's including her, and then I plus plus. So to increment and then store the value of the person's digit, the friend's digit at each location, and then you will enter the respective elements into their positions. So how do you do that? So ampersand f of I. So this is the input that we have taken. So first input, the number of n, and then the digits that each friend of Alice understood. Now, so the next one, so we know that the correct digit is what that is given by Alice. So let's initialize that. So correct digit, so that is Alice's, and then so what is the Alice's digit at what place in the array f is the correct digit, so it is at the f of 0th position, so that is the correct digit. Now taking this correct digit, we are supposed to check with the rest of the elements that we have just input. So now I will start looping from I is 0 or 1 should I take? So it is definitely, I have to start from the first or the index position 1, because f of 0 is already Alice's correct digit. So I have to iterate till I being less than n. So we know why we have to take less than n, because the indexing starts from 0. So we will stop at n minus 1. For that, the condition n is less than n is favoring. So if we give n is less than or equal to n minus 1, this condition also works equally fine. And then I plus plus. Alright. So now we have to check for the count. So what count? Incorrect count. How do you check the incorrect count? With each loop, comparing it with the correct digit. So now if the f of I, so if the each element in the f array is not equal to the correct digit, so if it is not matching with the Alice's digit, so only in that case we will do the incorrect count. So incorrect count, we can either do plus plus or we can do plus is equals to 1, the shortcut to increment the incorrect count value by 1. So plus is equals to is similar to using incorrect count is equals to incorrect count plus 1. So this is they are both one and the same. Now we have found the incorrect count of the digits, so that is done. So the output that we were looking for, we have already tried to find the difference in Alice's digit and her friend's digit. So now you just have to print the differences that you have got. So that is nothing but percentage %d to output the incorrect count value, incorrect count, and then the entire thing. So this is the entire program that we have built. We will just try to see the output. So they are expecting a semicolon before the error. Yes, we have missed this. So let's give if there are any errors. No. Great. So now it is asking us to it is prompting us to enter the n value. Let's take 5. Let's choose something from the example. So let's take 1 2 3 2 2. So let's see 1 2 3 2 and 2. So the output is the incorrect count or the difference in the first number to all other numbers in the array is 4. Like if the array was, we'll try again. So if let's give the input as 4. So the first digit that the Alice has passed is 1. So next person understood it wrong, 7. So other person understood it right, and other person also understood it right. So the difference is only the second person missed, and third person somehow was able to understand what Alice has told, and the difference is 7. Only one person or one friend of Alice was not able to understand what Alice said. So this is the this is the first question. So guys, do you have any doubts so far? So you have any doubts, please drop in the comment section so that I will be able to see and revert to your texts. So if you give a thumbs up that you understood the first code, I will go on to the with the next code. So if you all understood the first one, yes, say yes. That is given for the So if you all give a thumbs up on the chat, maybe I'll be able to see if you have all understood. Okay, let me see your. So any comments I've got? Okay, guys, I'm expecting your replies. So let me know if you have understood the test first question. Please comment out. All right. So, guys, did you understand at least the first one? So please try, replying back. I hope my voice is audible and the video is clear now. Awesome. Okay. So moving to the tips. So tricks and tips to ace the interview. So who wants to know the tips and tricks? So just give a thumbs up. All right. So the second tip for today is, so you are supposed to take care of the time and the space complexity. So how the time and the space complexity is important, if you're, see, there are two ways. You can give an optimized solution, one the unoptimized solution, wherein the time and space that your program takes is more. Okay, so in that case, that will not be the optimal solution. So optimal solution is where you minimize the space or the number of variables or the number of iterations that your program takes. So that is when it is actually considered to be a optimized program. So you are supposed to focus. So try to analyze the bigger complexity basically of the code that you're writing. So start with a brute force approach. So if necessary, try the normal, the consecutive flow of the program initially. But then after that, try to optimize it according to the constraints that they have given. Okay. So that is another tip that I would want to give you. So basically, you have to understand the problem. So read the problem as many times as you want. So read it carefully and break it down to smaller codes. So try to fix or try to write or break down the smaller parts of the code. And then you are supposed to think of the edge cases, the boundary conditions. Maybe if what if the user inputs a empty array, or what if there are too many number of inputs compared to what is it is supposed to be taken to that program, or the duplicate values if if you have entered. So you are supposed to take care of all the edge cases, and then you are supposed to plan before you actually code. Just typing will not give you the optimal solutions, or just it is called as just typing. So you are supposed to sit down, take a pen and a pencil, write the code, dry run it against multiple test cases, maybe see if your program is running for all the edge cases like I mentioned, the duplicates or the empty inputs or all that. And then you have to start optimizing it, and then you type it, then see the possibilities, the play with the test cases, give certain input, see if the input is working for for all the edge cases, and then try to get the proper output. And then, so this comes effectively through practice. So without practice we cannot do the coding so swift. So we definitely can do the coding, there's no doubt about it. So under pressure, under the time constraints, if we have to do, we have to be keep on practicing. That is the key to success. So, next tip that I would want to give is, given that you are all in your final semesters, so it is very important, you will be facing the interviews henceforth. So so you have to keep on coding every day. So at least try to solve three problems, at least three problems. You have so many coding platforms that will help you for that. So maybe start with the easy programs, and then slowly take a transition towards the medium programs, and then slowly take the transition towards the advanced questions. So there are various coding platforms that you have: the lead codes or the code forces, you have CodeChef, you have HackerRank, you have AtCoder, you have Coding Ninjas. So many platforms you have for you to practice. So of all that, the advanced is the lead codes. So try to solve at least 300 to 400 programs on lead code. And yes, if you're practicing so many questions, you are good to go to crack any coding interviews. This is for sure. That comes through practice, patience, and perseverance. Awesome. With that said, so let me just give a hands up, thumbs up if you found useful with the tricks and tips that I have just told you. And before we move on to the next question, so I'm waiting for your responses at the chat box, at the comment box. Please let me know if you have understood the question and the first question, and the tips and the tricks that were necessary for you to crack. All right. Okay. Moving to the second question. So read the second program statement, and okay, yes. Bob is going to bet today on horse riding. So yes, Bob, Alice went. Alice story is over. Now we are going back to Bob. So Bob is going to bet today on a horse riding. There are horses listed in a sequence of 1 till n. Two horses, sorry, there are n horses listed in a sequence of 1 till n. Remember that they've clearly given you to use the sequence of 1 till n. So the probability of winning each horse is different. So the prices for making a bet on the horses are not the same. So we know how the betting works. I mean, like most of us have a general idea. Not everybody knows, sorry. The probability of winning each horse is different. So based on the previous track records of each horse winning the winning the horse race or something. So the probability of each of the horses is different. I mean, obviously, each one has different capabilities. So the prices for making a bet on the horses are not the same. Yes. So the prices for each of the horses is not the same. There is a limit. There is a limit on the number of horses on which he can bet. So the number of horses he can bet. So till n, so there is no limit that they've clearly given us. So we can use any number of the sequence. But he thinks that if he bets on a continuous sequence of horses, then he has a better chance to win. So on continuous sequence, so say like the sequence of 5, 6 or 7 horses, so there's a better chance that he wins. So Bob will get K units of money uh, in if any horse on which he bets will win. So K units of money that we have to specify. So if any horse on which he bets will actually win the race. But as the reward is only K units, so he wants to put money less than K. So nobody wants to risk, right? So he will put he wants to put the money that is less than the K, that is the highest price that they will win for a bet. So Bob wants to bet on as many as horses as he can, and as you are his best friend, so I am Bob's best friend, thinking that Bob is my best friend, he reached out to you for help. So can you please help find the length of the maximum continuous sequences of horse on which Bob can make a bet? And remember, he will invest money less than K units. He is not going to invest equal to K units, or suppose say if K value is 100. So Bob is not going to bet for 100 rupees. So he will only bet for 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever he wishes to. So if there is more than one possible combination, Bob will bet randomly on any of them. So there are sequences of horses prices that will be given that you have to take as an input, and then if there are more of these combinations possible, then he will have to bet randomly. So they given the number of horses n, there are given n horses, so the reward money is K and the price for betting on n horses in order. So the reward money is K. That's the price that Bob will get in order if he wins the betting. So number of horses is n. So for the hint they have given, so please be careful in reading each sentence of the question. So for each starting index of a horse, its end index in sequences will be equal to or greater than the end index of the previous starting index. That is the last index, so the previous index to the sequence. They are asking you to find the sequences, like suppose the betting value is 90 rupees that he has taken. So for example, the horse 1 has bet value is 40 rupees, the horse 2 bet value is 20 rupees, and the horse 3 bet value is 30 rupees. So combined all this, the sequence is giving you 80, which is less than the K value 90. So 80 is definitely less than the value 90. So this is the sequence on which the Bob will be betting. For example, if the sequence was 40 plus 20 plus say like 70. Now adding this sequence 40 plus 20 plus 70 will really not be equal to 80 or 90, or it will go beyond that, but he does not want to exceed that limit. If he is exceeding the 90 limit, he has to adjust his sequence. Now this horse and this horse, if he wins on these two horses, so he is sure he will be able to get 90 rupees if his bet amount is 90. So the sequence will be this and this. So coming to the example part, so the input value for n is 90 and it is 100 for the bet value. So the number of horses that are there in the sequence is 10 and the betting value is 90. So now the price to make bet on each horse in order is, first horse is having its value at 30 rupees, second one 40, 50, 20, 20, 10, 90. So now we will see what is the value that he can put. So there are 10 horses and the reward that he is going to get is 100. So Bob will put money in less than 100. So there are two possible sequences. Okay. So of the 30, 40 and 50. So this sequence will not get him near to 100. So the length, like he's going to choose this and this combination next. So is this combination going to yield him somewhere nearing to 100? It is exceeding beyond that, so he doesn't want to choose this sequence. Now he will go for this sequence. Okay. So 50, 20 and 20. So we know that 50 and 20 will not give the will not yield the result. So I will move. I will take one more value. So 50 and 20. Yes, it is giving a total of 90. Okay. So that one, his sum is 90, and then he is going to bet on that because it is below the betting value, that is 100. Then he goes for the next sequence. So 20, 10 and 90. So yes, this is also exceeding. So he will go to the next pattern, 10, 90, 10. So that is also not going to happen. So and then all of this will not result because it is not nearer to 90. So he will choose randomly. So from these two, last sequences 10, 10 and 10. So 10, 10, 10 and is equal to 30. So he will not choose that sequence. So he will choose randomly if he has to go with this sequence or this sequence. So now, as other sequences are not giving him the length that is greater than 3, so if you see, if you take the length, this is not giving him the proper sequence. Okay. So he will have to decide as to which one to use now. So which sequence he has to go along. So other sequences are not of length 3, less than 100, and also see how many of these sequences are giving him the optimal value. So the sequences that are giving him is the proper sequence is 50, 50, 20 and 20. So the sequence for that, the answer will be 3. So let's start coding for this. So let's see how this works, or let's see if there is an example, one more example. So if you have any students, please do drop a message in the comment box if you have understood the question, or if you want me to repeat the code. So basically, the second example, 10 is the number of the horses that he has to bet, and 100 is the k value. So 10, 90, 80, 20, 10, 60. Okay, this we will check each by one. 10 is not equal, so 10 plus 90 will not be equal to 100, so will be equal to 100, but he doesn't want to bet to the full amount. So now the sequence is fine enough for him, so he will go bet with this. So 80 and 20 again is not giving him the correct sequence. It is equal to 100. 90 plus 20 not possible. 90 plus 60 is not possible. It is exceeding 100. So 60 plus 40 is giving him value near to 100, so equal to 100. Then 40 plus 60 is giving him 100. He will not want to take that. So 60 plus 70, 70 plus 75. So in whatever sense he looks at, in a combination of 1, combination of 2 or combination of 3 horses, he is not able to make a decision, because he is not, there is only one optimal solution to this. So only 90 is, only this single element 90 is falling in his range. So the output is only 1. Why? 90 is only one number, the sequence is only one number, that's why. There are, see the explanation, there are no 2 consecutive horses for which the sum of price is less than 100. So Bob will have to randomly choose on any one horse, either this 90 or this 90, and the maximum length of the sequence will be 1. So that is about the example 2. And then coming to the constraint part, the number of horses should not be less than 2 and should not exceed 10 to the power 5. That is 1 lakh horses, more than 1 lakh horses he can't bet on. So second one, the k value, the betting amount should not be less than 10 to the power 9. So a of 1, a of 3, a of n. So the array should not be, array element should not be exceeding 10 to the power 9 value. So the candidate has to write the code to accept two inputs. So the input format for testing. So they are saying, they are also specifying the input format. Sometimes they will specify the input format, or by seeing the input, the way they have given the input, you are supposed to understand if that is working. So if that is what they are expecting you to generate the output for. So first input, it contains two integers n. One is the number of horses and the k is the reward money. So n you know, n value you know, and then the k value for the reward money you know. So the second input is containing n integers, each separated. So n integers has to be given for the number of horses, for the price for the number of horses. So you know that you have n horses, so k horses, k is the betting amount, and the array for the betting prices is given respectively. That is, a is the array for the bet amount of the each horse, the price of the each horse I can say, and then k value they are given, and then n value also you have to take as the input. Primarily 3 inputs in this section. So here they are saying first input should be n and k, so each separated. In the same line you are supposed to give 9 or 90 or 10, so number of horses and the maximum amount that Bob is going to bet on. So to actually get into the solving mode of this, so we will try to take, so for now a of 1 till it go on till a of n. Okay, let me take 2 pointers initially, so left and right. So I will take the left pointer and then the right pointer pointing to the first element initially. So we will try to keep the left pointer here itself, and then try to increment the right pointer, right plus plus I'll do, and then calculate the sum with left, the right and its next element by gradually increasing the right pointer index. So I will check for the right, I will check for the total sum together. If it is exceeding the k value, I will move the left pointer once towards its right. So now if left was at a of 1, it will move to a of 2, and then a of 2 value we will check with the right pointer's value at each stage. In any of the cases, if the values are exceeding beyond k, we will increment the left pointer. Otherwise, we will keep on increment the right pointer until the value of these values become greater than k. Okay, so the till this happens, till the maximum valid subarray length we are getting. So let's actually get into the coding. So I will parallelly explain you how each element works. So I will just clear this off. Okay, so now, so as you all know, I will do the first formalities. I will include include stdio.h, the library function to actually include your printf and scanf functions. So other than that, so I will go to build on my main function. Yes, I will build my main function, and then I am supposed to read the number of horses and the reward money that I get. So there is no message that you will have to print onto the screen. Just take the two inputs, that is n and the bet value, that is k. So space separated integers they are asking. So d space d, and then what is the first d meant for? n, the number of horses, and the second percentage d is meant for the bet amount, maximum bet amount that Bob can take. Okay, so coming, we have read the number of horses and the reward money, or the highest money that uh, Bob is Bob will get if he bets on certain sequence of horses. Now I will initialize an array of the prices of each horse. So the size of the array will be n, since the number of horses that we are taking are n. So I will now try to input the horse price value, individual horse price value. So for I have not declared any value, sorry, my bad. So int n we will declare, we want n value, we have to take the betting value, then I'll go with the I value. Okay, let's see if we can build further. So for I we will start with 0, or they most importantly we will, okay, we will just take the value from 0, but then while iterating we'll go with 1. So I less than n, or we can also take I less than or equal to n minus 1, both hold good. So I plus plus, and then I will just use a scanf function in order to take the price of the, or input the price of the individual horses. For that I will use the scanf function, and prices of I should be the maximum value. So yes, so this is the input that we have taken. So all the three inputs we have taken now, n, k, and the prices for the individual horses. Now let me take the sequence. So let me take the sequence value and the maximum length of the sequence. Let me take a variable to keep track of the maximum sequence possible. So the maximum length I will initialize to 0, and then what next? I told we have to take the left and the right pointer. We will just take the left and the right pointer. Let's see what else we want. Now I will try to find the longest subarray that is nearer to the bet amount, or the value that is less than the bet amount. Okay, so now I will see if I will initially keep the left and right pointers as 0. So let me keep the left and the right pointers as 0 initially. Okay, and now I will try to iterate from, so for the right being 0, so the right is equals to 0, we've already initialized it, not an issue. So or we will just initialize and leave it. So our right is 0, and then right should be less than the value of n in all terms. So I plus, sorry, right plus plus, yes. So right plus plus. Now I have to check. Let me keep a pointer. Okay, let me have a so to find the sum, I will take the current sum variable. So current sum, so this one also I will declare here. So current sum, and then for it not to take any garbage value, I'll just initialize it to 0, and then current sum is nothing but the current sum, the previous value of current sum it has to include, yes. So I'll take the current sum plus, what is that I have to take? The prices of the right. So prices of right I have to take, and then I have to check for the at each stage I am incrementing the right value and the left. Okay, let me give some space for it to be denoted. And now I have to shrink the sum window. If it exceeds or if it is equal to 7, I have to keep checking. So the current sum I found, let me take another loop to check if the current sum is exceeding the k value or is equal to k value. So now what I'll do, until then I will keep incrementing I have to decide if I have to keep incrementing the left pointer as well, like I already explained it to you while reading the question, while understanding the question. So the current sum, if it is greater than or equal to the k value, the bet amount, and the condition wherein the left is always less than or equal to right. So the left pointer should always be less than or equal to right for it not to exceed the right pointer, and then the right and left, when the left increments the right pointer, that you cannot hold the track of the left pointer or the values, the subsequences count you will miss out on. So in that case, if while the current sum is greater than k and if the left pointer is less than the right value, only under such circumstances I will what I will do, if it is exceeding, I have to reduce the value. For that, what should I do? With the current sum, whatever the current sum value I am having, no, that with that value I have to decrement the price of left. For example, now if it is 90 plus 90 is 40 plus 20. Now in this case, if the target value is 100, if I am using these three values, no, so what happens, it will exceed the value of 100. In this case, I will just decrement the left pointer's value, that is 40 plus 20 I will consider now. So what will I do? I'll just delete this. So yes, what should I do now? I have to decrement from the current sum. So whatever from the current sum, I have to decrement the value of the left. That is nothing but the prices of left pointer's value I have to decrement from the current sum, and then keep on incrementing the left pointer, and then delete that value or take off that value, and then move the left pointer one towards the right. So this is, we shrunk the sum size and made sure that the sum is not exceeding. So in any sequence of that, it is not exceeding the like the target value or the k value. Under such circumstances, we actually made some adjustments while decrementing the prices of the left pointer and then incrementing the left pointer one towards its right. Now, updating the max length is remaining. So how do you take the max length? So if the max length is maybe say if it's greater than, so initially it is 0. Okay, so initially it is 0. So in any of the cases, the right pointer is always ahead of the left pointer. So to get the gap between these two, I will go with the right minus left pointer, and the current one I am actually looking into. So that's how I will take the max length. So let it be a ternary operator. I'll take it as a ternary operator. I'll tell you why. So if the right value minus the left value plus one value is greater than the max length, in case this is the situation, so what will be your max length value in this case? So it will be nothing but the right minus, I am sure all of you know how the ternary operator works. So it is just a shortcut to use the if else statements. So right minus left plus 1 is greater than the max length. Right minus left plus 1 is the max length that we will fix for. Otherwise, if this is not the case, so if these values are less than the max length, then we will fix for the previous max length itself. So max length semicolon. Okay, so now we got the max length and then, so that is end of the iteration for us. So we have closed the for loop successfully. So once you come out of this, so we have taken the longest sequence that you can actually that to keep track of the longest sequence that the that Bob is looking for. Now the next step is to just print the maximum length of the subsequence of the horses that he can bet on. So I will just try to print the value of Bob, the maximum length or the max length. So percentage T and the max length. So this is the whole program about, and then finally I will just try to return 0. So we will just cross check if we have got all the sentences or all the syntaxes right. So max length is 0, right? Current sum, okay. Just have a glance, guys, or try to take a screenshot if you want to understand what the I mean, if you want to understand the code, if you have to revisit the code again. So this is the code, and let's compile the code. Compiling the code. So let's check for any bugs. Okay, so no bugs. So it is directly asking you for the length n, k and all. So we'll go to the answer. So 10 and 100 we will just space separated values we put, and then 10, 90, 80, 10, 90, 80, and then going for 20, 90, 60, 90, 60, 40. So the entire sequence, so 60, then 70, 70, and the final value was 75. So we have read the 10 sequence of prices, and then the maximum subsequence. This was the subsequence alone that would help Bob bet on his horse. So second horse, which was having the highest price of 90, was alone sufficient for Bob to get his highest scoring. So I hope you understood the second question. So if you have no doubts with the second question, maybe we can continue with the third question. So before we continue to the third question, so let me give you another tip. So this one done. So we understood how the input format and the output format for testing looks like. And then the third one, the like let's see few other tips to in order to ace your coding. So yes, coding every day is very very important. I already told you. So next one is you somehow have to keep in mind the patterns that your questions are repeating. So you have to the competitive coding is all about recognizing the patterns with each problem that you take up. So the common techniques, like just now we use two pointers. We use two pointers, one the left and the right pointer. So this technique is called as the two pointer technique, or there is one more technique where you will slide the left and the right pointers towards the left pointer you will move towards left, sorry, right, and the right pointer you will move towards left. So that is called as the sliding window technique. Or you have to understand if your problem is based on recursion, or if you can optimize it through recursion, or you can do it use a greedy method to solve this, or use a BFS or a breadth first search or depth first search you can use. And or maybe you can use the divide and conquer. Use break it down into smaller steps and code each one of them differently, and then combine all that to get the final output. So that can be done. So it the the idea here is to maintain so you can maintain a cheat sheet, okay, so of how the problem was asked about. So what pattern did you identify from that question? So what did you learn from your practice? So that is one other way, one other tip that you can follow while actually preparing for the competitive coding. And then, so you always have to develop this strong debugging and testing skills. So even if you are confident, so even if you are confident of writing the entire code, sometimes we miss on the very minute details. So we have to be quick in understanding what that minute error you have made, and then fixing it as early as possible. But because we do not have that flexibility of time, so all our time goes in as formulating the solution. So we should not really waste much time in debugging. For that, you have to keep on practicing as many as programs. See what errors you have at each step, at each program, and then you have to learn from your previous mistakes. So yes, use the print statements at each level. Suppose your left value, you've missed, try to trace the solution where your left pointer is at, where your right pointer is at each stage. See how you can refine your code with each step. Okay, against the test cases you're supposed to, against the worst cases you're supposed to refine your code for. And then you have to read the error messages. It will be, the compiler will clearly give you at which line number is your error visible. So that line number, you should be able to go to that line number, see what the error says. Sometimes if you have missed a semicolon in the previous step, the compiler shows it in the next step, it is expecting a semicolon before this step. So sometimes alone the line number will be a mismatch, but then it will give you a proper hint as to where and how to debug also. So as a few compilers will also give you a quick fix for that. For suppose you have missed out including the library for some functions, say string functions, you have suppose you have forgotten to include the string.h function. So in that case, so the compiler will help you, so at each stage. So that is one tip that you can take away. So developing the debugging and the testing skills. So given this, so let's move on to the third question. So before that I want you guys to comment out in the comment section as to if you understood this approach, the second question, before we move on to the third question. So kindly give a thumbs up guys if you have understood the second program effectively. And also please let me know if the tips were effective in making your learning process a bit smoother. All right. Coming to the third program statement. Now, Bob and Alice are gone. Now, Ayush. So, say hi to Ayush. So, Ayush is working on a strange algorithm where he wants to convert a string from A to B, both the strings of equal length n. So A is one string, B is another string, and he has to convert he has to convert a string from A to B, but they should be of equal length. So below are the rules which can be performed to convert a string. So string A and B are of equal length. Okay. So that's the first constraint that you have to take care of. Both of them are in lowercase without the hassle from converting to uppercase to lowercase or lower to upper. You just can convert it into lowercase directly with some string functions, character functions. And then you are supposed to choose a subset X from the string A. So between the index 1 and n. So you are supposed to see why you are choosing this subset is to find if there are any differences between the corresponding characters of string A and string B. So let S be the letter that alphabetically comes before all other letters in the subset. So let S be that letter that comes before all the other letters. So whatever subset. So maybe the subset of string alone if you take. So what's a subset? So this entire thing is a subset. S is a subset, ST is a subset, STR is a subset, and so on. So let S be called the smallest element in the subset. So let's take if S is greater. So generally for us Z is greater than all the lowercase alphabets. So for us Z is the highest. So like this is just an arbitrary telling, they are just telling you if S is greater, if comes before all other letters in the subset, we will call it as the smallest. Okay. Okay, sorry. So if S comes before all, so this is the largest for us. Okay, so S is the smallest. There are elements of the subset with the letter S. So if this is the smallest, supposed to replace all the elements in the subset with the letter S. So now the task is to find the minimum number of moves which are required to perform this conversion from the difference. So whatever the difference, suppose A, B, C, D, E, and then you give another string A, B, C, D, F. So E is smallest in the string. So to convert E to this F to E, so the minimum number of conversions you have to take is the, so if it is possible, if it's not possible to convert the string A to B, then return -1. Otherwise, if you can easily convert this from F to E, then the minimum number of moves that you're supposed to take in order to convert this string from this to this or this to this has to be returned. Now let's try to understand this with an example. So there are two strings, so both are having the string length of 5, ABCAB and AABAB. So now try to understand this question, this example carefully. So we have chosen a subset S. Let's say we have taken the indexes 2, which is the index 2. So index 2, index 2, index 3 and index 5. So from A we are supposed to take. So for that the subset becomes BC and then B. So because all other values are matching, so the difference value only we have to take. Okay. So we have to choose the smallest element from B, C, B. Okay, B, C and B, where B is smallest among B and C, that we know. So we have to replace all other elements in the subset. So whatever is in the subset, we have to replace all other with the B. So here it becomes B, C. So we have to replace B with everything in BCB. So the string here becomes B, B, A, B and A. So how many number of conversions you have to make? This you have to make, for this you have to make, and this you have to make. So these are the possible two conversions that you have to take. So now we will place all the elements back into their respective index. So whatever the conversion we have done, we will place them back into their positions that they originally were in. So the updated string will become ABB. So here I have to take the subsequence, I have to take the entire sequence in order to find if the sequence is correct. So I found out that first sequence is correct, so I am not bothering that. So second sequence is a mismatch. So from there I will take all other values, and then I also come to know that the fourth character is correct. So from there I will have to check and replace everything with the smallest one. So my replace value is ABB. So that's the first example. So operation 2. So now we have chosen a subset S. So we have taken it from index 1, 2 and 4. Then the subset becomes ABA. So we have to choose the smallest element among these ABA. So which is A here. So we have to replace all the smallest with all other elements in the sequence of in the subset. So A will be replacing everything here. So A, B, A now will become. So we will place all the, so if you replace A, so it will become A, B, A, and then you will place it into the respective indexes back. So this will give you the updated string as A, B, B. So now this is something similar to the string B, and this is A, sorry, and this is equal to the string B. So the minimum the minimum conversions we can do is this operation 1 and operation 2. Only two operations we had to perform in order to get the original string as B, or conversion from any string to any other is possible. So coming to the example, so taking this example, so the input integer n, so the input integer, the number of integers is n. So yes, the number of strings, the number of characters in each string should not exceed 4 or not be beyond 4 or less than 4. So the input string A is AB and AB. So AB, AA. So if you can see the difference is only in this. So converting A to B, because A is small, so you will convert A to B, B to A. Now we have to choose a subset. Let's say we have taken index 3, that is A, and 4 from A. We have taken A and B from A. Then the subset becomes A and B. So we have to choose the more than one character subset we have to choose. So we have to choose the smallest element, which it is A. So now you have to replace the smallest element with all other elements in the subset. So A will be replaced with everything in AB. So which A has to be replaced with everything? There's only two characters in the subsequence. So you will replace AB to AA. So we will check now. The ABAA, the converted string, is same as the original string B. So now there was only one operation that was required to convert the string A to string B, that was converting this B from string A to A. So that is why the number of operations is 1. So now so I hope you understood. With each stage we will try taking the difference of the characters in each step and then try coding. So without actually delaying let's go to the coding part. So yes, have some patience. We are going to finish off the session with this code, and then I will start with the most important thing, the hash include stdio.h followed by the main function. So int main. So let me take another function here actually to convert the string. So let me zoom out. Okay, done. So now let me take a value. We do not have strings in string data type in C, so I have to go with the character array. So character, I will take A, and what is the size that I will take? So okay, for that let me also define a macro to not go beyond certain limit. So let me take the max. So the macro, this is to define a constant maximum n, and its value they have asked it should not go beyond the 1 lakh limit, or the characters should not exceed beyond 1 lakh characters. So A of maximum value, that maximum limit I will take. So maximum n, then I will also take a string or a character b, that also a string b that also should not exceed the maximum n value. So before this, let us take the number of characters with each string a and b. So the next step is to take the scanf input. So scanf for %d is the format specifier. Before this, I will have to add a double inverted commas, and then I have to input the value of n. So that is done, and then I have to input the value of the string. So that is percentage yes, I can use right away. And then for strings, it's not necessary that you use the ampersand, because it is a character array and the array always stores the address of the first character. So yes, that is the reason we do not use ampersand with respect to scanf input of the strings. So now this is taken, the inputs I've taken. Okay, let me take one array, be it any string. Let me take one one function to actually convert or to find the number of operations that I want to, minimum operations that I want to convert. So let me take in smallest, let me take the character smallest to the maximum possible. So if you have to check for the smallest, we go with the extreme end. If you have to check with the largest, we go to the extreme small. So that's the reason the extreme end is small z, and then 2 plus 1, that would be the maximum limit that I have to check. So now I will try to check the mismatched character. So whatever mismatched character if I find, I will try to track that. I will try to change it to the smallest one upon finding which is the smallest. But initially, if I take this as a maximum limit, I can reduce the limit. Otherwise, the smallest will remain the same. For that also, I will take one more flag to check if the characters or alphabets in each of the strings are changed or not. So for that, I will take a for loop. I will run the program from 0 till the last element. So I less than the number of characters in the string, I plus plus, and then I will check. So I will check what? If the character at I for A and character at I for B are the same. So if they are not the same, what do I do? So if the character of the B, if it is less than the smallest, then which will be my smallest? B of I will be my smallest. So now let's check if the character at A of I is not equal to the character at B of I. So only in such situations. So I will check smallest is B of I. So now I have tried to find the B of I. Here ends my while loop. I do not want, I just took the, I just ran this, I just took this loop until this condition is not there. So until once the condition is, the stopping condition is met, we will be able to, okay, I'm not yet out of the while loop because I've not still found a final stopping condition. So here I will end the for loop here, and then now I have to check if there are mismatches or not. So if there are mismatches, I will immediately I will go for replacement. Immediately go for replacement. What if there are no mismatches? If the string A is equal to the string B, then what I have to do? I will just exit. There are no operations that I have to do. I will just exit out of the loop. So what will I do? So if I will check if the smallest, so if the smallest that I have found here, or if it is not changed changed at all, well, fair enough. So if it is not equal to, if it is if it is equal to the character z plus 1, only under such circumstances I will just is there any number of returns that I have to make? So I will just return the number of operations that I made. So have I taken, so here it will return 0 only. So the number of operations, that will be 0 only. If the smallest is z less than 1. So now I will just go for the replacement now if there are mismatches found. So for that I will take I. So here I've taken int I in the loop. So I'll also take int I here. So int I is 0 and then I will continue till I. So if I will check for if there are any dissimilarities. So I will check if a of I is not equal to b of I, and as well as I've taken one more okay, and so if the b of I is equal to the smallest element, so if b of I becomes the smallest, then what you have to do, you have to make the position, you have to make the character at ith position of string A to the smallest element. That's what exactly you're doing here. And then I will set a change flag. So since I've made the changes, yes, I will set the change flag to 1. Have I initialized that? Okay, no, I have not initialized this. I will check the changed to 0. I will initially keep the changed to 0. Now yes, I have made the changes, so I will keep it 1. So this is done. So if there were no changes made, if there are no changes made at all, or if the changes are made, yes, I will set the change flag to 0. Otherwise, if the changes are not made, so if not changed or change not equal to 0, both works good. Then in this case, if there are no changes made, and I'll return -1. So it is not possible for me to make the changes. So in this case, I will return -1, and the number of operations in either of the case, if I'm not able to do it, I will just increment the, if I'm able to change it, I will increment the number of operations. So here have I closed my entire bracket list properly? Okay, so if these are the cases, I will just go with the okay, I've not made a function call, right? So I'll have to make a function call. I'm returning some value. Let me take a result or a operation, and then int result is nothing but I have to call the min operations. So what is my, okay, min operations is my function name, and then I'm converting the A string, I'm passing the A string, B string, and the number of characters in each of the string. So then I will just output the result, printf. So %t, the format specifier for the integer, the minimum number of operations used, and then the result I will put here. So that is the last step, and to not forget, return 0 because I've given int main. So my main function does not return any value, so I will take care of this as well. So yes, so this is my whole program. Please let me know if you have any doubts with respect to the program. Otherwise, we will go ahead and compile it. So compiling it. So run. So let us check if there are any hash include. Okay, in function main. So I will just use hash include. Okay, run. So it is asking for the input. Now I have to okay, let me go for a b a b a b a a. So the result or the number of operations to convert from either of these is 1. So that is the output that I am able to get. So going back to the previous string, so let us see the string a b c a b a a b a b. So the string length is 5